What you think about the current scene of LA hip hop? You following Roddy and everything that's going on in LA? You proud of LA right now?
I love it. I get a chance to stand back and watch the youngsters do what they do. I mean, I did my thing with it for 20-something years as far as being the king of the West Coast. Gave the crown to Kendrick Lamar. I didn't give it to him. Actually, he took it, but I had to take it off my head and give it to him.
Yeah.
And he been running wild with it. And the music that's been coming out from the West has been very, very good. It's international. It's not just regional. It's not local no more. It's global.
In the cutthroat world of rap, where bravado and dominance are the currency of the realm, few names inspire as much reverence and fear as Kendrick Lamar. This Compton-born lyrical genius has carved out a space in the hip-hop pantheon with his razor-sharp verses, profound storytelling, and unparalleled authenticity. But what about Kendrick Lamar that sends shivers down the spines of even the most hardened rappers? Is it his ability to weave intricate narratives that expose societal ills? Let's find out. But before that, don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's get started. Kendrick Lamar is a force to be reckoned with in the rap world. His fellow rappers fear him, not just because of his recent activities, but for a long time before he became as battle-tested as he is now. The hip-hop scene is currently enjoying a landscape where Kendrick savagely defeated Drake so completely that his name is now used as a warning acronym: "Don't rap against Kendrick ever." This reputation wasn't built overnight or by chance. Drake's loss to Kendrick highlighted why so few have dared to challenge him over the years. But what makes Kendrick's reputation so intimidating? There are many reasons why Kendrick is not someone you want to mess with in a rap battle. One major factor is the immense respect he commands within the hip-hop community, which flows from the top of the industry down. Kendrick has received endorsements from some of the most influential figures in rap. Dr. Dre co-signed him, and he was passed the torch of the West Coast by legends like Snoop Dogg, The Game, and Kurupt. Even the legendary Eminem, known for his own formidable skills, once questioned whether he could match Kendrick's prowess. Eminem's admiration for Kendrick's talent is well documented. He invited Kendrick to his studio to collaborate on a song. Kendrick arrived with his crew, but Eminem insisted on having Kendrick alone in the studio. The reason? Eminem wanted to see if Kendrick was truly the genius behind his verses, or if he had a ghostwriter. Kendrick accepted the challenge, wrote a brilliant verse on the spot, and performed it flawlessly. This impressed Eminem, who then acknowledged Kendrick as one of the best. Ever since Eminem and Kendrick Lamar teamed up on Love Game from the Marshall Mathers LP2, Eminem has recognized Lamar as one of the top-tier talents in the rap game. In a rare display of humility, Eminem admitted he'd think twice before challenging Kendrick. Eminem explained that working with Kendrick is unpredictable because Kendrick is a master of various styles, capable of anything. His proficiency and versatility make him a formidable opponent, someone who could deliver a surprise knockout at any moment. Kendrick's ability to overshadow other rappers on collaborations is well known. Unlike Eminem, Kendrick hasn't had to battle other MCs as frequently throughout his career. Yet, Kendrick has always insisted he could tear any rapper to shreds, even after achieving mainstream success. His Section 80 Inches project revolved around the assertion that he could outperform any rapper. In Damn. On the track Element, he issued a chilling warning. All it took was someone mentioning his name, and they would face a reckoning akin to summoning Candyman. His Pulitzer Prize win further solidified his status, and on Rich Spirit, he reminded his peers to stop playing with him before he turns them into a song. Following his dismantling of Drake and Jay, Cole's symbolic surrender, it's clear Kendrick's threats weren't idle. Over recent weeks, Kendrick has left significant marks on their legacies, making it unlikely anyone will challenge him soon. However, Kendrick's dominance began long before his declaration of F the Big Three. It's just Big Me. Rappers had already been hesitant to cross him. When they did let their egos speak against him, they often ended up paying homage instead. Despite not having faced many direct battles before Drake's ill-fated attempt, Kendrick's presence and influence were already well established, notably through his impact on Big Sean. Big Sean inadvertently set the stage for Kendrick's confrontation with Drake. Kendrick's infamous verse on Control hijacked Sean's track, making a bold statement to the industry that while he loved them, he was out to claim their fans and positions. Despite Sean's insistence that he wasn't outshined on Control, the verse overshadowed his career. Sean even left the track off his Hall of Fame album, yet he couldn't escape its legacy. Sean tried to assert that he could hold his own on any track, but the impact of Control told a different story. You're right, but I still don't feel like I got washed anyway. Despite his confidence, Big Sean's fans and critics often debated whether he was overshadowed by Kendrick Lamar on their track Control. Big Sean believed opinions were just distractions that could throw him off his game. Though he never fully admitted to having beef with Kendrick, Big Sean did take subliminal shots at him from time to time. On tracks like Me, Myself, and I, and No More Interviews, listeners sensed that the Detroit rapper was targeting Kendrick's rapping style. However, Kendrick never acknowledged any of these veiled jabs, remaining silent on the matter. But on The Heart Part 4, Kendrick made it clear that he was aware of the shots and warned that if Big Sean kept pushing, he'd get the confrontation he seemed to want. Kendrick's lyrics were explicit. My fans wait for me to sun your punk ass and crush your whole lil shit. I'll big pun your punk ass, you a scared little bitch. While Big Sean never received a direct diss track, Kendrick's message was unmistakable. He could come for him whenever he chose. The Control verse left such a lasting impact on Big Sean's career that it's almost as if his career can be divided into before and after that track. Despite the tension, Big Sean now speaks of Kendrick with admiration, almost as if there was never any issue. Reflecting on the so-called beef, Big Sean wished he had spoken up earlier to clarify there was no real problem. He remembered seeing speculation online about whether his lyrics were aimed at Kendrick, but insisted he was merely rapping about people who rap fast. Sean emphasized that he wasn't beefing with anyone. Despite his claims, the shadow of Control haunted him for years. Every time he released a new verse, people wondered if it was a response to Kendrick. This constant speculation created an awkward tension between them, even though they had both said there was no beef. While Big Sean might have felt the sting from the fallout of Control, he wasn't the only one. Jay Electronica, another rapper on the track, also faced the heat. Despite being hailed as one of the greatest MCs at the time, Jay didn't escape unscathed. He was upset by claims that Kendrick outperformed him on the track, asserting that Kendrick was envious of him. Jay confidently declared, Kendrick wouldn't tell you himself he couldn't body me. Kendrick is my son. Kendrick wishes he could be me. Jay Electronica's frustration surfaced again in his verse on The Curse of Mayweather, where he rapped about Kendrick's 11 Grammy nominations, dismissing their value with the line, Man, F these white people. He followed this with a poignant line about his grandmother, who died at 82 scrubbing floors. While rappers were still chasing awards, it seemed like Jay was almost inviting conflict. Yet, out of nowhere, he had a change of heart, suddenly praising Kendrick and TDE. Peace to K and TDE because regardless to whom or what, we're brothers fighting the same energy. Forgive my past energy. The reason for this switch is unclear, but it showed Jay, like many others, couldn't maintain his stance against Kendrick. The reaction from the hip-hop community to Kendrick's verse on Control set the stage for the beef with Drake and established how other rappers would tread carefully around him. Many responses to Control seemed measured, ensuring they didn't go too far. For instance, Joel Ortiz from Slaughterhouse felt slighted that his group wasn't mentioned in Kendrick's shoutouts. In response, he released a fierce track titled Out of Control, where he took aim at Kendrick with lines like, You're the king of New York. Little homie, you ain't the king of New York. You're the next thing on my... This response, and others like it, illustrated how rappers were cautious, respecting Kendrick's prowess while expressing their displeasure. Later on, in an interview with Vibe, Joe Budden clarified that he was actually praising Kendrick for the most part. Even the notoriously fearless Joe Budden, who was hosting a live stream for his response track, chose not to release it, following responses from Papoose and others. Kendrick remained so calm throughout the entire situation that it was impossible for his rivals not to feel a twinge of fear. When asked about the comebacks from his Control verse, Kendrick simply said, I got to try harder, showcasing his unshakable confidence. This unflappable demeanor made the entire hip-hop culture realize that Kendrick was a force to be reckoned with. Disrespecting Kendrick Lamar always came with a caveat. Few dared to come for his neck directly, knowing the consequences. Take French Montana, for instance. Over the years, he made several attempts to discredit Kendrick. He claimed Kendrick was being pushed by the industry, saying, "Why do you think Kendrick sells more than street rappers? They position him like they did in the Grammys as the new music." French even went as far as to say he had more hits than Kendrick, only to be mercilessly mocked online. He boasted, "If we're just talking about anthems, me versus Kendrick, hit for hit, I believe I can go neck to neck. I've been making hits for a long time. I love Kendrick, but that's for anybody they put in front of me." However, not everyone agreed with French's bold claims. Other rappers jumped on the bandwagon to mock him. Young Thug, for instance, ridiculed him, saying, "Stupid expletives say he got more hits than Kendrick. Bro, you ain't got more hits or anthems than Kendrick? You must be on some real dope." Despite engaging in a war of words with Young Thug, French Montana never dared to provoke Kendrick any further. Eventually, like many others, French essentially apologized, admitting he was just in his feelings at the time. He learned, as did the rest of the hip-hop world, that challenging Kendrick Lamar was a risky move, one that could lead to public humiliation and a quick retreat. "I was just heated. I didn't win the Grammy for Unforgettable, and Kendrick did. That day, I was so mad that he won and I didn't. But I got love for Kendrick and his whole team." Admitting he was in the wrong rather than blaming Kendrick is a rare show of humility for a rapper. While Cole has faced backlash for saying that his 7-minute Dreamville Festival diss track towards Kendrick didn't sit right with his spirit and would be removed from streaming services. He's not the first to make apologies to Kendrick. "When I listen to it and when it comes out, I see the talk and it doesn't sit right with my spirit. It disrupts my peace," Cole said. History shows fear of being dismantled on a verse wasn't the only reason for these apologies. French Montana's acknowledgement of Kendrick's entire team highlights that going at Kendrick means taking on an army. Though Kendrick might have been a good kid in a mad city, he has a whole city backing him. Growing up in Compton, Kendrick was exposed to gang life early on, with many of his friends being active members. Joining TDE, he found himself amidst the Bounty Hunter Bloods and Hoover Crips, teaming up with label mates like Schoolboy Q and J-Rock, along with others repping their sets. Recently, Kendrick's gang ties have come under scrutiny again. Rumors suggest that Cole received a tip to back off from the beef, reportedly from Schoolboy Q. An unnamed source at Dreamville Festival revealed that it was Schoolboy Q who allegedly warned Cole to stop beefing with Kendrick before the apology. Whether it was a bullying move, a stern warning, or just friendly advice, it doesn't really matter. Based on what punch, Tita's president said they gave Cole what he needed to bow out gracefully. Whether Schoolboy Q was warning Cole about the heat Kendrick had in store for Drake or advising him to ease up before things got dangerous, the whole situation shows that Kendrick's roots in Compton have his back. It's clear that going up against Kendrick Lamar would make anyone think twice. While there was always speculation that he wasn't to be taken lightly, his battle with Drake has solidified that belief. Despite opinions from figures like DJ Akademix, there's no denying that Kendrick outdid Drake. The fact that he broke Drake's record for the highest streamed rap song in a day with a track where he calls him a sex offender is just diabolical. Fans are now realizing that Kendrick is not someone to mess with. I knew Kendrick was someone to avoid when I saw that video of him doing burpees in a parking lot while listening to oldies. Something is clearly off with him. Look at this guy, a true psychopath. His willingness to take down a rapper, coupled with what's happening to Drake, explains why he hasn't been challenged much before. People have been throwing jabs at Drake for years, but they rarely hit the mark with the general public. With Kendrick, you have a rare mix of someone who is not only incredibly skilled, but also has the platform to slander you and reach massive audiences. It's the fear of embarrassment. He's a better rapper than almost everyone in the industry. Skill-wise, he can do both mainstream and underground music, while most artists choose one style and never change. If you need proof that Kendrick's impact is real, look no further than the comments from a school teacher about the shift in tone around Drake after Not Like Us dropped. This teacher, who taught at a very Drake-centric high school, noted a significant change. Rich Baby Daddy was the most frequently requested song in class, and Drake was what students listened to in their headphones. However, after the leak, the atmosphere changed drastically. The teacher walked in one day and could feel a tectonic shift. "Oh my God, this is a Kendrick school now," they said. Students were ready to defend Kendrick passionately, with only 1 or 2 Drake defenders per class getting shouted down by their peers. Kendrick's influence even hit Drake's pockets. According to Billboard, from May 3rd to May 6th, Lamar's discography earned around 50 million streams, a 49% increase from the previous tracking period. Meanwhile, Drake's overall catalog actually saw a decline when comparing streams from that same weekend, excluding his 2 response tracks, Push-Ups and Family Matters. Although Kendrick might not overtake Drake's streaming numbers overall, his versatility has proven to be a powerful weapon. Eminem earlier suggested that this is one of the reasons why it's not advisable to test him. Kendrick's records, from Like That to Euphoria to 616 Lay to Not Like Us, all sound different, showcasing the widest range ever seen in any rap battle. He checks every box sonically, from his pen game to potential gang ties, making him a force to be reckoned with. Kendrick's passion for hip-hop is immense. He loves it to a point that he can't even describe. He listened to hip-hop at house parties every night. When he heard artists claiming to be the best, he committed to not just making one good song or one good rap, but to doing it every time. This commitment drives him to constantly challenge himself and affirm that he's the best, period. This explains his responsibility to uphold high standards and why Drake taking from the culture without giving back bothers him so much. Guys, what do you think about Kendrick Lamar? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Then check out this next video if you don't know that Uncle Luke rips Diddy after seeing hotel video with Cassie. And don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next video.